Man, it's good to see you.
Mate, it's good to see you too, mate. Bloody missed ya.
Oh dear. Where to begin? I guess the place you hold in my memory, in my head, is just. Even then, I hope I can maybe zoom in on that. It's just like a smile, kind of there for anyone. You know, you don't seem like a guy that has a lot of hate in his heart. That's for sure.
Mate, I think everyone's got a little bit of hate somewhere in there. I think they'll be lying. They said they didn't, but yeah, I think that's probably what I value like most in life is relationships, people. Like, I think everything's so empty without without like having those things.
I was like, oh, we're going
you know what I mean? Yeah, getting deep early.
Yeah.
Nah, just like I do like genuinely like I value like people more than anything. I think that means the most.
And that I'm sure if we start to kind of break down how your life's gone so far, like that probably will be clear. How are you directing that now then? Like right now, what's that going towards start with the bigger things maybe of like what you do with most of your time and energy and whatnot. What are you up to that reflects that?
Yeah, well, mate, I sort of like, as you sort of know, this year's been a bit of a different one for me. At the start of this year, I quit my job, and it was a bit of a shock. Like it'd been a job I've been putting in for like about 4 years, and I've gravitated like a lot of my life towards that. And then all of a sudden, when I quit, I lost a big chunk of like those relationships that I'd sort of built over the years, and I felt a bit lost for a second. Like I still lucky enough to have like my amazing partner, my family, still my friends, but just that day to day of coming into the office, like knowing the people like that I had around me, not being there, I was like, oh, this is a bit of a shock to the system. It kind of like threw me out a little bit, but I think it's probably what I needed. Like it was probably a good thing. Yeah.
And take me to like those, was that when we had that phone call? Because I remember a phone call when I was at uni getting free dinners.
Yeah.
And we had like a fairly decently long chat.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 hours.
Yeah. Was that in that period of like however many days or weeks?
Yeah, it was pretty like, I think it was like a couple of weeks after. I think we might have had a quicker chat in between, but like when it sort of hit me that I was like, well, I feel like I'm missing like a big chunk of me and I feel like something needs to like take that place. I remember we had that call. It was a good call.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Is this when all the NFL stuff is coming into play?
No, not so much yet. So like that was like definitely a big part of like me finding like what's the next thing for me. But I was right along the midst of just trying to work out what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like I'm pretty grateful that came from me being in a spot where I wasn't as reliant and wasn't in so much of a routine of what I was doing every day, that it gave me like freedom to think and freedom to like really plan out where I sort of want to take my life.
So like, what? I mean, I've been there as well. I'm sure we all have been. For you, what did that actually look like day to day?
Yeah.
What is that? That period of life? I feel like it's very normal when we're young in our 20s as well, and probably gets less normal as you go on, as you get more like, oh, I know myself and I know what I'm doing and stuff. But what was it like? Because it's also a very private part of life. It's always a weird chapter where it's like I figure myself out. Like it is the chapter in which you start to figure yourself out.
It's scary.
For the next step. But it's also the chapter you never like post online. You know, you don't tell many people about it.
No.
So what did it look like for you?
Mate, I think like the first thing I needed to do was just almost have like a bit of a reset and just do nothing for a bit. If I look back at like my 4 years prior, it was just busting my ass off day in, day out, doing the same things, pushing myself. And then if I probably go to like another 4 years before that, it was like I was quite heavily focused on sport. And that was like what majority took up of my life as well. And that was just go, 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 go. But it was the first time where I sort of sat there, I'm like, I know I need to do something. I feel like I have to be doing something because I just feel like that's how I've always been my whole life. But I have no clue what to do. So I think it was at the end of the day, I took about 3 months off work. And for majority of that, it was me just sitting there with my thoughts, which can be like pretty dark,
What do you
man. Like,
mean? You literally sitting in bed or like?
not so much sitting in bed. Like I'd find things to do, but I just had no purpose
Yeah.
with what I was doing. Lucky enough, like my partner, she'd work from home. I'd obviously have her to chat with. I'd catch up with friends here and there, but whatever I was doing, I didn't have any like purpose. Like I wasn't working towards something, and I hated that feeling. Like it made me like feel ill. And whenever I would like sort of like try and drag myself to like, oh, let's find something. What's the next job? What does that look like? Whatever I sort of looked at, or like jobs I applied for, I'm like, oh, it doesn't scratch that itch. So the first thing I did, which I'm so grateful I did to sort of find something to do again, was I started playing footy again.
Nice.
Started playing local footy. So my two cousins, like two of my best mates, I was like, all right, I need to be like around family. Like I just want ways to connect with them. What are the things I've been missing the last 4 years? Seeing like my family that live up in Ballarat and spending time with them. So I'm like, I think one of the first things I did, which was a good bit of action I took, was I gave my cousin a call. I was like, hey mate, like, is it too late to start playing footy again this year? He's like, of course not, mate, get down. That sort of gave me something to do, but realistically it was a bit of a Band-Aid for like giving me purpose.
There's this weird balance to play with and certainly not get right, I think, by definition, because on one hand, you want to be wired in the way that being productive and working and being useful is what makes you feel good. Like that.
Yeah.
Some people say, oh, that's kind of conditioning and capitalistic, toxic, whatever. I mean, that's an extreme version, but like, you probably want to be wired like that. But on the other hand, you also want to like live a life that is aligned with your unique individuality and whatnot. And that's probably not going to be the first hard work that you find in your 20s.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So it's a weird thing of like, you take 3 months off work and you kind of have to feel a bit directionless.
Yeah.
And the risk is you stay directionless for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, as far as I see in society, it would seem at the extremes, there's one direction where people are directionless for a long time and more people seem to be falling into that. But on the other side, full of, I'm going in this direction, but never took the time to figure out whether that direction they're going in is
the right direction.
Right one.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird, like...
I know exactly what you're talking about. I 100% get you.
Was it scarier to think, oh, am I going to stay directionless? Was that the fear? Or was the fear that like, I'm not going to be able to deal with the present directionlessness. I'm going to run towards a direction that's actually, I know is not right. I'm going to get a job that I don't really want. Or was the bigger fear like, I'm going to stay like this forever?
I never really had that feeling that I would like stay like this forever. But it was just like, almost just like a clump of anxiety that I want the next one that I throw myself towards to be that thing. Like I was sort of like, I had a little bit of resent towards myself that I put in so much work over the past 4 years and didn't really get close to like where I wanted to be. And like that sort of reality shock, it was very similar. It's like it's actually the second time I've had that happen in my life, because the first time was when I was chasing down like dreams of like going to play college basketball, and like I wanted to play in the NBL, and I wanted to be like, that's where I saw my life going. That was what I was working towards. And like I hit like similar roadblock in a different way, and I probably felt that little bit of directionless, but it's the similar time as when like I started the other job and like threw myself into that pretty quickly.
And I'd love to break it down maybe a bit, but you did this like when the basketball dream kind of died.
Yeah.
The job dream came in, like filled the vacuum.
It did. And it feels weird to say that, because there probably was like a bigger gap than the 3 months that I just took. And it was more so filled with like a lot of negative things, like just like drinking, partying. I mean, I was like 21, but I sort of like threw myself into that crowd and just had a bit of a realization like, oh, this is not where I want my life to go. Like I really had that, what am I doing? Like, what am I going to be doing in 5 years if I keep doing this? And and that sort of like pushed me towards like looking
direction.
for my next job. Yeah, it gave me a direction. Whereas this time I was like, I didn't exactly have that push. I was more just the fear of like, I know whatever I'm going to do next, I'm going to be the same person. Like I'm going to have that tick in me that just makes me want to achieve in it. And I want whatever it is to like build towards like, I guess, my ultimate goal in life.
So talk me through the process of triangulating with what you know and, you know, increasing amounts of experience and self-understanding of figuring out which direction you want to run at next.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
During
Well,
that 3 months, what mental models did you have? Who did you speak to? What was the process of figuring out an answer?
it's one of those ones like I was pretty lucky that like I didn't hold back on reaching out for help. Like, for example, calling you, calling other friends that I trust, and speaking to my partner, family. Everyone had really good advice, but none of it clicked. All of it was kind of just like oh, you should do this. Like, I recommend doing this. I think you were the only really person that told me that you have to figure it out for yourself. And ultimately that's what I sort of did. Like, sort of things come into place where, I ultimately know that I want to have my own business. That's what I want to work towards having. I'm like, cool.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
to
it's
you?
freedom. It is freedom. I know everyone says that. It's a bit of a cliche. Like, why do you want business? You want freedom. But
Because it's very easy to view having your own business as the absolute opposite of freedom and tied down, chained heavily down with responsibility.
yeah, I think that's a bit of like a paradigm shift I had over that break. I was like, okay, like I want to have a business, but I want to design a business that is going to give me like the life that I want. What are the things I'm passionate about? And I definitely bounced around with heaps of ideas.
Because this is the thing, like most businesses, especially ones that are actually successful, right? And are successful on a maybe financial degree.
Yeah.
But I see them all the time. I work at a fancy yacht club in Sydney, and like most of the yacht owners are tied down with these businesses, whether it's an engineering business, and they're like spending their life doing shit jobs in shit places with shit people.
Yeah.
But they get the money for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what
I'll be honest,
is the success?
I definitely like had that. I was like, oh, that's what I want. That's like my version of success. I think on that break, I realized I'm like, if I was like to design my life on paper, like what would I want to be doing? Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury that money does limit us, like to some degree. Like, what are the things I need to do? How much money do I need? And then I was like, how can I build a potential business around this?
Can you tell me even through that, like what I don't know if you're willing to, open up about the actual things, but what was it? How much money do you need? Like,
yeah, well, I was like, what do I want to be doing, right? That's what you need to know first before you need to work out how much money you want to do. I'm like, what are something like, basically where I started was from scratch, and I was like, all right, if I had no limitations in my life, like what would I be doing? And the first thing I thought was like, I want to go to America. I want to like watch sports. I'm like obviously really passionate about NFL. I love it.
Is this NFL stuff?
Yeah, this is some NFL gear. I was like, I would go to every game if I could. I'm like, that's a little bit unrealistic with airfares, getting over there, paying for tickets. I'm like, that's not possible. And I was like, surely there's other people like me that feel the exact same way. And I remember I was catching up with my cousin after footy training one night. We were just having one of those long drawn out conversations, and look, long story short, he's like quite successful in his job, like does quite well for himself, earns great money as like a concreter. And he was like almost having like a similar thought. He's like, I'm like bust my ass every day, backbreaking work, earn great money, I'm able to support my family, but it's not what I want to be doing my whole life. And I was like, so true, hey, like, I'm like in this position of like desperation where I'm like, oh, I want to come up with a business to make me money, but realistically, like, I would rather like try build that dream job and find out what that looks like. That would fulfill me more, even if it just barely scraped through paying the bills. If I was enough to like, for the essential needs, but if I was able to do that every day, I wouldn't care how much it pays me. Yeah.
No, so it's a lifestyle. I've heard, I was listening to some entrepreneur dude, say this kind of, I mean, there's all sorts of types of businesses, but he was someone who has made and then sold like heaps of businesses. And it's kind of like the business that you make to sell in some way or other, whether it's an IPO or to sell it off. And that's basically like, what's the biggest problem, that I can fix, and how can I quickly solve it? It might be an app, it might be a, whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's the lifestyle business, which is going to be which is another option. It's a slower burn, probably takes a while to build, but it gives the owner a dream life and enough money. Can't really be sold because it's so probably wrapped up in them.
Yeah.
They probably use themselves as the front person and really add their identity to it, and that's what's create the success. It also means you can't just handball it off to someone.
Yeah. Mate, I kind
There's
of
no right answers, I think.
Yeah, I almost kind of like, I definitely get that, but that wasn't like necessarily what I was pursuing, because my brain sort of kicked in. I'm like, all right, if I am going to do it, like it does need to solve a problem for it to be a great business. And I think that's where I sort of intertwined the two. Basically that night I was chatting with my cousin. We were both, and we went down and we're like we both sort of agreed how awesome would it be if we like ran trips over to America. And for people like us that wish they could go to NFL games, like imagine we could give them that experience and be a part of that experience and like do that regularly and build it up to the point where it just meant us like getting to spend time over there and getting paid to do it, like going to like the biggest NFL games and maybe potentially expanding it to like college games and outside of NFL, like NBA and stuff like that. I'm like, how do we create a business like that where we get to be there? We get to be working towards that, and we get to bring people along with us to sort of share the journey and like fix that problem that like there's not many like opportunities. Like, yeah, of course people can pay out of their ass to.
So can people not just like, I really want to see this game, I'm going to fly there and buy a ticket?
Absolutely they can. But like when you justify the expense for most people, one, it's incredibly expensive. And two, it's not like if that person was to write down what I want to do on that trip, they're not going to get the same level of exposure as like what we plan to like give people.
Okay. Yeah. So just out of curiosity, why, if I was an NFL fan, why would I be going with your potential, like,
Yeah. So sort of like our overview plan is we want to create like a Kentucky tour for sports fans. So it's not just like going to the game, but it'll be
going to the game with other people who are as into it as you are.
Yeah, but we want to bring in my cousin's like fortunate to have a few like connections over there that we can tee up like tours. He knows a few like of the college coaches that we've already started speaking to that could organise like bringing fans to come in and see like the facilities of a venue, see like potentially like the players training, and like obviously that's just a starter, but we really want to build from there and just be able to give people like when they go there, they do it right.
Right.
Because for most people, right, it's a once in a lifetime like experience to go. Like if you're a big NFL fan or whatever sports fan, like you go over there and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You only get to do it once.
Yeah. And so instead of you potentially risking the goodness of your once in a lifetime experience by organising it yourself, you pay that bit of a premium, but like it's going to be good and it's going to be with a crowd. Like it's not, I'm dragging my wife and kids along who don't really give a shit. It's like, no, like,
100%. Like, and it's like you go there, you do it right, you get like an experience that wouldn't be accessible if it wasn't for like what we do, and just give people like those memories that, that's something they can always look back on. Yeah, nice. I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Okay, so if that's the Northern Star and you can see that pretty clearly, how do you navigate the roadmap to there?
Yeah, mate, such a good question.
Creating something out of nothing, as in like not nothing, but
just an idea.
I feel like reality it's like rigid in a way, and when you have an idea that doesn't exist other than your head, like, and putting it into reality takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah. Like I guess like the next steps, if that's what you're sort of asking, to turn that idea into.
So you're from being 3 months kind of just wallowing around the house.
Yeah, literally, yeah, I can admit to that. My girlfriend can definitely admit to that as well, mate. I guess like when it came to like sort of a roadmap to getting there, like if we're just going to ask me personally and not sort of look at the business as a whole, the first thing I need to do is get a job because like my savings were all gone.
Yeah.
I was diving more in towards debt than having any money behind me, which is just not sustainable when you're like trying to start a business. So if we're like building something, I needed some money behind me. And I was like, if I need to find a job, I need something like I am going to actually, like I need something, one, I feel like I'm good at it. And two, something like I would enjoy. Something that's going to fulfill that like thing I was missing about having like the people around me. If I sort of like rewind back to that.
So even if it doesn't give you, because you've already sorted out the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
And this is paying you to help in that direction and maybe making sure that the path towards it isn't unnecessarily lonely and unhappy and kind of
100%. You're just fulfilling that part of my life.
But you're not relying on the job for the direction anymore.
100%. Yeah.
So what did you do?
Mate, I started applying for jobs. I was going to job interviews and I was hating it.
What kind of jobs do you apply to?
Solar sales, like working for like some non-for-profit companies.
Yeah.
They're all sort of like either sales jobs or desk jobs. And the thought, if I like future paced what I'd be doing in those roles, I was like, oh mate, it's not me. It's not me. Like I'm going into I don't know if it was what really scared me away from it was going into like a situation which everyone's scared of, like having to meet new people. But I was quite fortunate in my last workplace that like everyone was sort of similar age. Everyone was very ambitious. Like it was just a good group that I gelled with. Where I like met you, just like amazing people. I was like, I just don't know if I could do it. And there was just a bit of hesitancy in me, like in really like reaching out for those jobs. And then, our good mate, Jack.
Yeah, I hope he pulls through and he will be on the pod.
Yeah, he'll be a great mate. He gave me a call one day. He was just incorporating his business and
we'll explain, I think when we get to it, we'll explain the whole industry and door knocking and all the rest of it. But so this will make more sense. But
he basically offered me a job being like his BDM, his business development manager, his recruiter, and like his admin. And my first reaction was like, I don't know, mate. Like I appreciate you thinking of me, but I just don't really like see myself being an admin. Like I see myself as a little bit more. And he's like, no worries.
A little bit more?
Yeah, I just feel like I could offer more. And I was very stuck in like sort of thinking like, oh, I'll just be an admin. I'll just be punching in data. Like I'll just be getting people to submit their timesheets. And I was like, oh, that's not me. I don't know if I can do that. And he's like, just have a think about it. And I actually sat on it for a couple of days and I was like, all right, if I do take this role, is it going to be asking as much as me as what I was giving prior? And I was like, I know it's going to ask probably a little bit more than most jobs. Just with
especially because you have the social, not pressure, but the social responsibility of, you're not just his employee, but you're his friend, and you want to, like, you don't want to.
It's his new business.
Give him the least minimal effort, like,
Yeah, literally 100%. I knew I would I'm good mates with Jack, and like I knew if I did take this job, I'd be working my ass off. Like I was aware of that, and I thought about it more, and I was like, oh, what does that role like really look like? I caught up with him the next week in the office. He explained a little bit more. He's like, the thing that really sort of got me was he's like, mate, I want you to like be alongside me and help me like build this business. I don't want you to be like my like receptionist, my admin. Like I want you to like really help me try and build this business. And I was like, well, there I can see like where I'm going to get fulfillment using my skills. It's going to be fun. Like we're good mates. I'm back in that environment with a lot of good people. Get to see it's in the same offices where I started. So I'm like a lot of like friendly old faces. I was a bit excited to see. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to give it a crack.
So were you in that decision making considering the fact that because it is actually quite fulfilling and you're building something that'll take away the energy that you have reserved, because it's not unlimited, of like
No.
this is the energy tokens I have to spend on building things and be motivated by things.
Yeah, mate.
I'm trying to put them in this NFL thing because that's my real dream. Now I'm kind of going to pay with them to sort out my money and the social problem.
Mate, you're so right, because I'm like, when I did have that time off and when I did start building the NFL thing, I was just all systems go. I would like work on it all day. I was getting that fulfillment, and I'm like, when I do start a job, this isn't going to be sustainable, the amount of work I'm putting in. So whatever I do start, I need to find like that time where I can work on this every day, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty lucky I'm doing it with my 2 cousins. So like we can split the load, especially with where we're at. I'm pretty aware that it's going to get to a point where like they're going to cross over 100%. And look, we'll just take it as it comes. I think like the cool part about like now having like a job that I'm enjoying, something that I'm building, I don't feel like there's so much of a rush like as you do when you're not working. You're like, oh, I need to build this business. I'd be making money. But now it's more like, hey, let's do it right. Let's spend the amount of time and energy that's not going to burn me out so I'm terrible at both.
Yeah.
And let's just make sure I've got direction in both.
Because that anxious energy can be reserved. Yeah. He can have that.
That's all he gets, mate. Yeah. No, it's like, so yeah, I was kind of aware that like if I did take another job, but I also asked myself that question, if I did take another job, I'd probably throw myself into it. I'd probably find a way to work more than what was required.
Yeah.
Especially
because you don't have, it's twofold. Yes, you have the social responsibility of I don't want to be, a dog and not pull my weight because I know these people, I like these people. But then also, if you're in a new environment, there's a sense I need to prove to myself that I'm not a lazy dog. And it's like, which one's actually going to require more energy and effort? Who knows? Like,
yeah, I think like almost just like the stress of like learning a new role and stuff like that would take away more. Like at least like when I work with Jack, I'm like, one, I can be honest with him where I'm at and like where I want to spend my time. 2, he's going to give me better advice. Like he's just a lot more honest with me. He's like, no, this is what I need you to do this week. And like that goes both ways. If there's not much to do, he's pretty easy going, like in the sense that it's like, mate, you can finish up early today.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is great. Like it comes back. Like he pays it back. Whereas if I go to a new role,
it's just 40 hours, 40 hours, 40 hours.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just knew with like my personality, I wouldn't be able to like just coast.
Yeah.
Like whatever it was, I would have that like voice in the back of my head saying, no, you need to do more.
Okay. So tell me about the NFL thing and the exact, like, what has been the first step when you were putting so much, especially when you weren't working, putting so much effort, what was that being directed at?
The first step, which is honestly where we're still at, is building a brand. I think like you need a reputation in the industry, like especially like the travel industry, before you start doing these things. Like realistically, we couldn't just start like running a trip, invite people on there.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay a fairly like lump sum to do an expensive trip when there's just no evidence? So like, all right, we need to build a brand. We need to build a reputation. We need to find more people like us. How do we attract more people like us to start following us? I'm pretty lucky that I'm mates with a guy who runs Instagram page, Back to the Bench.
Okay.
They've got about 80,000 followers, and he basically gave me the blueprint to how we built that page.
What is that page? What?
Yeah, it's just like a footy page, like AFL footy page.
Like memes and stuff.
Yeah, post memes, just like reels of just random stuff in the footy. And he was able to build, like I think he's surpassed, like he'd be on the track for 100,000 followers.
Nice.
And just seeing like the amount of opportunities that opens up for him. I was like, well, I don't necessarily need those opportunities, but I do need to build the brand. So I literally, with his help, copy and pasted the whole method of like how they do things and then just applied it to NFL.
Is it like maybe it's a secret recipe or what is
that?
As far as you're willing to say?
No, it's fair enough. It's a great question.
How does someone get 100,000 followers?
Yeah, man, that's like the big, like everyone has like I feel like everyone has a great idea at some point. I want to start a podcast. I want to start this page. Like everyone's got that idea, but how do you do it?
How do I make this podcast have 100,000 followers, baby?
Yeah. I couldn't give you the exact formula for that because it's a little bit of a different niche, but like what he basically did was just post 4 times a day with the exact same formula. So like for all our sort of content, it's either funny or it's like grabs your attention in the sense it's like an epic play in NFL, something cool or something a little bit different. The ones that seem to do quite well are ones like just a little bit unique.
I think your like biggest clip that might have how many views has it got?
2.2, 2.1
million. Yeah, it's like some random. What even is that?
Is that the gas mask one?
I don't know. It's like the cover of some black dude at some awards night.
Yeah, so that was NFL draft in 2016. Laramie Tunsil, he was projected to go quite high in the draft, and right before the start of the draft, an unknown source leaked a video of him like smoking weed out of a gas mask and posted on Twitter. And then all of a sudden, no team would draft him. So
whoa,
yeah, he like slipped right down the draft. Ended up being an amazing player.
Yeah,
absolute
that's
gun.
like you should just pick him up, buy it while it's low, buy the dip, you know.
Yeah, mate, boys buying the dip, which is what his team that drafted him did. And yeah, they would be pretty happy with it. But
did you know how actually on the pulse of NFL culture have you been over the years? Like, did you know that when it was a thing, or were you like actively looking for I need 4 pieces of content a day? And then you suddenly find it all out.
For that one, like I did know what happened, but I will be like honest, you do stumble across so many things that like I've never seen before. Like I've been a pretty big NFL fan for about 10 years. Yeah, since I was like...
Because if you're servicing the fans, you need to be the ultra mega fan. It's my job to be a fan.
Yeah, 100%. It's something like for the last like 10 years, I would wake up at 3 a.m. to watch my team play. My team's terrible. We suck.
What's the team?
The Colts, the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. We've like not been good for a very long time. We're like that team that's almost there but just never can put it together. Okay. Just so frustrating when you wake up at 3 a.m. But I do it every week. To watch them.
So where do you go for this content? Like Reddit pages or something?
Twitter.
Twitter would be a big one.
Yeah, Twitter's massive. Yeah, just stuff you stumble across, like I guess on Instagram and that as well. You can just sort of take with your own twist. A lot of like news sites, like there's a really good site called Bleacher Report.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, you've heard of it? Yeah.
So you just like searching on Bleacher Report, NFL funny or some shit?
Like, I check the news, like I read like my Bleacher Report notifications every day where a lot of that stuff will like pop up when it happens. Sometimes like if you're like looking for content, you could deep down the archives where you can like just search on Twitter and just like look for something like until it grabs your attention. Like it's like
so if it grabs your attention, you presume it'll grab other people's attention.
100%.
Just post it.
That's literally what I think. I'm like, if I think it's funny, then I'm going to try to find other people that think it's funny. Like if it grabs my attention, then I know it's going to grab.
Would you say your standard for what's funny or what's attention grabbing is lower or higher than the masses?
Because
you need to find 4 things funny. Yeah,
I think that threshold, I'm pretty like easy to please. So I've never actually thought about it from like other people's perspective. When you're posting 4 times a day for nearly 3 months as we had, there's some days where you're like, oh, this is a bit of a stretch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
not
God,
expecting much.
Don't know how this is going to do. But then also sometimes like the stuff you post that you didn't think would be that good end up being the ones that just go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I in my own little way, one of my grandma just saying like how she, you know, some grandma like, you know, doesn't want to go on a cruise ship or something. Like, it's got, not compared to 2.1 million, but it got 50,000 views.
I've seen that one, yeah.
Weeks, it was just like rolling through. And I was like, it's not a clip that like it was interesting because all the follows and likes and stuff were like, I'd click on some of their profiles and it all would be like grandmas. Like nanas using it. So it obviously found that little niche of the algorithm.
Yeah.
They were all of that. But when I posted, I certainly, because I mean, I obviously connected with that clip enough to have made it a clip.
Yeah.
Out of the whole 2-hour interview or whatever. But it is interesting to see what kind of hits and what doesn't.
Mate, I think the more time you spend trying to work out how to crack the algorithm, like for example, like when we've had ones that have gone quite well, trying to repeat it, it just doesn't work, mate.
So that's why you need 4 a day to just machine gun it.
It's machine gun. You're spraying with a blindfold on, honestly.
Yeah.
You just
Spray
look
and
around,
pray.
spray and praying, mate. It is a bit like that. And to be fair, like it has worked. Like in just under 3 months, we've built 2,000 followers from scratch. I know, like relatively, like with where we want it to get to, it's kind of.
But
nothing,
a lot of those pages, I feel, are always paying for followers and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. That was something I refused to do. Like, and
Yeah.
I actually did ask, like Nick, who runs Back to the Bench, I'm like, have you ever done that? Like, you did it, and he's like, don't do it. It basically, how Instagram works, they will like make the algorithm not work for you if you are detected.
If it sees you like, oh, you have 50,000 followers, but they only get 2 likes on a post. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it just like, it won't serve the algorithm. Like, yeah, it looks pretty to look at, but I was like, I think the right way is to do it naturally.
Yeah. And then you'll learn on the way as well.
100%. And there's things we've already learned, like just the content's gotten so much better. We're getting so much better at creating it, getting quicker at creating it.
Nice.
Like I went from like taking like an hour to like make 2 posts on Canva when we first started. And now I can like whip one up in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, cool.
So,
So do you have boundaries on this stage as well? Do you like, okay, we're going to try this for a year this way and like commit to this plan for a year and reassess then, and this is our like stop loss, we'll quit if this is the case, or we'll jump this way? Like, have you mapped that out at all?
yeah, we have. And I'll be honest, it's always like forever changing, and we haven't really looked back too much. Like we've had weeks where like no videos have sort of gone and we're like, oh, are we doing the right thing? But then the next week we'd get one, it'd go for 1 million. We're like, oh, it's just got to keep back in the process. Like we have ideal goals, like where we'd want to be at by the end of this year. If ideally we want to run our first trip, not the end of this year, the year after, we would want to be at like that 50,000 plus. And like we're in that harder stage now, which is building that followers from the scratch, from the start. But I feel like
just putting coins in the little piggy bank, you know, far out.
Yeah, literally just building it from there. Like, I guess we're starting to sort of flirt with like, all right, what else can we do to sort of grow our following outside of these, like 4 posts we're putting up a day? Because I'll be honest, it gets so repetitive. Putting up that post, making that post.
Do you think those 4 posts are going to have to stay and then another thing, or replaced? Or
I wouldn't replace it because we know the system works.
Yeah.
Like we just back it in. We know it's working. We know we're building
you're finding you guys have more time and energy to give now that you got more efficient.
Yeah, a bit of like a pat on the back as well, like a bit of reward. Like, oh, we know this is working. Like gives you a bit of extra motivation to like start our podcast.
Yeah.
Which we did our first episode of. It is horrible.
Oh, nice. Okay, you started.
Oh, mate, it's bad. Hey, it's bad. It's like, but we know what we want to talk about, but I'm like, wow, it feels like I'm like.
Talk me through this. Because obviously I'm into this is a fucking podcast, so obviously I like podcasting. Run me through the decision to start one and how I'm very interested in it.
Yeah, it was always like the plan, like when we were like figuring out how we're going to build our brand, like podcasters, like I feel like it's every
random white dude.
Every man and their dog's got a podcast. Hey, legend. We're like, how's that going to stand out? What does that look like? Ultimately, we chose to put that energy into like building the Instagram. But now we're sort of the luxury of like, oh, we've got 2,000 followers. Hey, if one person listens. I
remember I don't know if I can give myself credit here, but I remember distinctly telling you, do one thing, do it well.
You literally did say that. And honestly, like I think the conversations I had with my cousin, he's like, oh, let's start the pod or stuff. And I was like, let's nail this one. Let's get some traction in this, and then let's do it. And we're to the point now where like, all right.
So you can add the podcast because you don't think that if that doesn't work, it's going to crumble the whole thing.
I don't care. Yeah. I genuinely like it. I'd rather.
The risk is doing them both at the time. It's like, oh, this isn't working, and I don't believe in this. And
we stick to our system of we're doing those posts. We're trying to build followers. We know it works this way. Let's start flirting with.
Okay, so what's the dream of the podcast?
Mate, dream of the podcast. One, it's fun.
And what's it called?
Our Back Down Zone. Yeah, cool. You can get the link in there on our page. Yeah. One, it's fun. It's me and my cousin just talking about NFL in a real Aussie sort of way, like our own little twist on it. I think like a big step and something I think it will give us, whether it gives us followers or not, not too fast, but it gives us practice, like actually engaging, like talking in a more like podcast setting. Like it's, you would probably know, I'm guessing, like from when you started to like where you are now, you probably do, you feel a lot more better doing.
Yeah, more comfortable, more confident.
100%. I was like, well, if we get to the point where we've got a page of 50,000 people and we've got contacts of like some pretty cool people, like something awesome. John Gruden, who used to be an NFL coach.
Oh, really?
He's really like well known. He's got 500,000 followers on Instagram. He followed our page.
Nice.
And I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like,
That's dopamine.
Oh, mate, I was pretty happy that night, eh? Me and my cousin called each other. We're like, fuck off.
But that's added to the network. Like,
yeah, just one
in a small
step.
way. Like, you know, you couldn't probably
Very
fucking
small.
call them up. You want to pay 10 grand for a trip. Like,
Yeah. It's probably not going to work that way, but I'm like, all right, well, all of a sudden, fast forward 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, we've got 50,000 followers. How many more people like that? Like another one that follows us is Jonathan Brown, who played AFL.
oh, true.
Yeah, we shot him a
nice.
message, mate. He shot it back, said, love your work, boys. All right, so all of a sudden we're in a position where we've got 50,000 followers.
Jonathan Brown, he's the big Brisbane.
Yeah, that's him, mate.
Fuck, that dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
sick.
absolute legend. We're in a position now where we're getting more and more people follow
Sorry,
like this.
just to like
Go for it.
interrupt, but like, I love that because I haven't seen it not be the case, certainly in my own life, but it's so cool. Like, it's almost making me teary to like see it in yours, because not that necessarily Jonathan Brown or that coach was like the person you had, like if there is any person, but you start to like take that time to figure out what direction, what is aligned, who am I? Because you need to ask, who am I, to then figure out the direction of who I want to be, because that's where you're going, right? What's that going to serve? And actually having the faith and the backing to act out along that path, suddenly in its own little ways, which probably don't mean a lot to other people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got one fucking random follower who believes in fucking Hawthorne or whatever. But it's like, to you, it can be like, this is just these little driplets of fate just saying yes.
You're going the right way.
You're going the right way. And
Keep going.
I remember distinctly feeling that with, in the periods of my life where I changed direction and backed myself to go in that direction. It was just like, oh, suddenly I've gone from, whether it was you wallowing around in your room or for me, like being locked in a, I don't know, COVID commerce degree, I've taken the time to figure out a direction as you have, and then like gone from what felt like a million miles away, a million degrees of separation away from these influential people to like maybe 1 degree of separation away, you know? It wasn't that person or that figure, but it was their friend or like their like, you know.
You're just like one step away. Like, you're so close. Like really like sort of put in their shoes. I'm like, oh, he actually saw that. He liked it. He took the time to follow it. We messaged him just saying thank you, and he messaged back. I'm like, that means so much.
So cool.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we're doing the right thing. We just need to keep going. And
so
like,
I interrupted your train. I don't know where you were.
I'm trying to think where I was on the train.
We're talking about the pod and like the goal of it and 50.
Yeah, so I fast forward, like put myself in a position in 6 months' time where we've got potentially 50,000 followers.
Is the 6 months important? Obviously, that's the dream timeline. But if it takes 2 years, is that an issue?
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as like we keep finding.
Have you like internally laid foundations for that to potentially be the case?
To be honest, I'm that confident it's not going to be that long.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've always got to be aware that sometimes you get really close. For all I know, we might be stuck on 49,999 for a year straight. You know what I mean? Like, but I guess it's not so much about the destination of getting 50,000. It's like what we sort of build along the way and keep getting those small little droplets that you're talking about that keep giving you the motivation to keep doing it every day and knowing you go in the right direction. But for example, like I'm pretty confident I back us in 6 months' time be at 50,000. When we get there, I guess the reason for the podcast is we're going to have a few more opportunities open up to like get people onto the podcast, because all of a sudden we've got the reputation. And if we get on there and do it the way we just did our podcast, our first one the other night, that's when you can start damaging your reputation.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you're going to have a lot more people viewing it than probably the 3 people who've watched it so far.
So you want to make sure all the failing, all the shit reps are done while we only have 2,000 followers.
Yeah, get it out now. Like it's going to be the best part, because like we were a little bit awkward when we're doing it. Like I feel like my cousin definitely did a lot better than me, but I'm like, we did it over Zoom. We didn't do it with like good mics or anything like that. It was a bit scrappy. My other cousin, who's like the third part of like what we're building, he did like all the editing and stuff. He did pretty good, but I think he had to cut out about 50 likes. I said the word like about 50 times in the space of like 10 minutes at one spell point. So let's just like get these less. Man, now can you cut him out of this one as well? If you're doing me a massive favour.
A fair few ums at the start.
Yeah, I'm shocking for it. It's how I speak.
You and Ted, Oh man,
I'm glad Teddy can join me for
painful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I've done it again. Oh God. So we really just need to just nut out getting good at it before we're in the position where we're interviewing an NFL player or an ex-NFL player, someone big, and we get on there and just absolutely bury it. That's my worst nightmare. So I think that's the main objective from the podcast. Start doing it now, start building it, start getting comfortable.
Now, obviously, that's going to involve, similar to with Instagram, like reps and confidence. But now my pod is not really bound by too many things, so I find it quite difficult to systemize it and structure it. I'm starting to get an idea of how an interview might work, and I think I share with you that, I don't know if I've actually shared it on the microphone, but I've kind of given myself long timelines of 100 episodes to just think about what interviewing is and connection to the guest is, and then flow of the conversation before I bother with, I mean, I'm playing around with the lighting stuff, but I don't actually care about it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it would need 100 episodes if it's structured and bound by like the topic of NFL.
Yeah.
But still, it's by the nature of the art form.
Yeah.
By the nature of the medium, it's more complex. It's got more buttons to push.
It's never as easy of just saying I'll do this, right, and then I'll get this.
Exactly. So are you? And you had the algorithm kind of given to you by the bloke who already had 80,000 followers. So I guess what pathway are you gonna create? Are you gonna figure it out as you go with reps, or are you gonna try a certain structured system? Like, how is it going to go to become good at podcasting, I suppose?
I'm going to take a piss.
Oh, please. Should we put more wood on this? Do we have more wood?
Yeah, I was literally about to say we'll top him up as well. God, I was holding that one in.
There we go. Should do it. Losing my freediving one.
Yeah, hey, a lot of air can stack into there.
Once upon a time. So the last question left off was, how do you envisage getting good at podcasting? Do you have similar to what you did with the Instagram? Do you have such structures, or?
Definitely like not as structured, just repetitions. The more we do it, the more we'll get comfortable. The closer we'll get to getting a smaller guest on. The more we do it, I just feel like we're just going to develop those skills, get better at it. I think you always have to be like intentional with getting better. I think one, just being like aware of like, what do we need to improve on? Let's focus on this. How do we do it? And just keep doing it.
I suppose like just how you had a clear thing of, this makes the cut for the Instagram post if it's grabbing my attention or it's making me laugh a bit. You could kind of sit down with, how long was the pod? Like
half an hour.
An hour. It's like, okay, this minute or this this exchange, did that grab my attention or make me like, oh no, okay, why not? Like, I mean, you can be super like that 100%, about it.
Mate. Like, it comes from like, I guess like that learning sales as well. It's like breaking down your pitch.
Sure.
It's you want to get to the point where you can listen to yourself and not cringe. Just like all those sort of systems that you do when you're like developing like your pitch and sales is like, it's all quite relevant to podcasting, because at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell a message that people should listen to you again.
That's true.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about the sales part of it yet. I haven't been doing well.
It's probably a good thing, mate. Yeah. It's probably a good thing.
Come listen to Jamie. This will be the one. Okay, well, maybe now's a good time to take it back. And obviously sport, this NFL has found itself as the context of your dream and your direction. And by consequence, that's because it aligns with you and is representative of who you are. Where does that start? Like,
Yeah.
is sport the main actualizer of Jamie?
Mate, I think I would say it would have to be like I guess like right back at the start, came from like a pretty awesome family, grew up on like a big property, out
Ferny Creek?
Yeah, Ferny Creek, had like 10 acres. Always loved being outside as a kid, always loved camping. I loved my footy when I was like AFL footy from a young age. I'll be out kicking the footy with the cows in the backyard. Like,
You had cows?
yeah, we had cows, mate.
I'm
Yeah.
jealous.
There used to be one mum had out in the paddock. It was a little baby calf and it used to chase me around. It used to terrify me. But yeah, good fun. Like I used to like, when I was like 6 years old, I'd go out in the backyard and my dad planted like trees to make us goalposts up at both ends. It was like 50 metres sort of like patch. I used to simulate games on both teams. It's so funny. Yeah. I used to just love it. Like
I distinctly remember at school having like a footy and the soccer, the footy post, and I think in 2008 it was like Hawks Geelong, or 2006 maybe Hawks Geelong or something. I think we lost.
08, yeah.
Yeah, and there was
I was there that
and
day.
you'd already go. You always go. Oh
Yeah.
You'd always go like, oh, this. You take them. The siren's gone. And Hawks are 5 points down.
Yeah, mate, I did that every day in the backyard after school. Like, literally every day. Just lived, breathed, loved sport. Played footy. Was playing like junior footy. Then my mum like loves her basketball. She started getting me into basketball. Just picked up basketball really quick, more so than footy, and to the point where I was like,
as in you picked up being good at it.
Yeah. Like I was like a decent like young footy player at like whatever level it was, like under 10s or whatever. But you can't really compare. But when I started playing basketball, it was like straight into like the rep teams.
Cool.
Start training more, start taking up a lot more time. Like my parents, so amazing for like driving me to all those trainings. The Friday nights,
Long way from Ferny Creek, I imagine.
every Friday.
Sack and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
and like MAFRA and stuff like that. Doing that every Friday night. I'm like, wow, that scares me about having kids if they were ever to like.
That might be closer than.
Than MSAC, yeah, less traffic, that's for sure. But just stuff like that. Just picked it up quite quick. All of a sudden, like drew a lot of commitment. Loved it. Was good at it. Was enjoying it. And then like.
And what ages is this taking you through?
Yeah, so I probably started like 10. Started getting really good when I was like 13, 14. Like went on like a few trips to New Zealand, representing like the school state team. Went over there, played. Yeah, and it got to the point where I had to give up footy because I was just all basketball. And that was like, I enjoy football more, but I was so much better at basketball.
Okay.
And then that's when like, I guess that goal sort of developed. Where
And
I'm like,
how clear was this goal?
I was clear as like every kid dreams of like playing in the NBA. Like realistically, I'm 6'3", 6'4".
Pretty small for NBA, is it?
Yeah, white guy, like was never really going to play in the NBA, but hey, you dream of it and you want to work towards it. But like the realistic goal was I want to go play college. I want to go play college ball.
Yeah. And was that realistic?
Yeah, that was really realistic. Like I got quite good when I was like 16, 17. Like that dream was starting to look like very realistic. I was training like 8 days a week, like twice most days, play 2 games on the weekend. Yeah, I started dealing with like a few like injuries and stuff like that. I got right when I was like starting to get really good, I was like playing in like the best under 18s team as like a bottom ager, like younger than everyone else. I fractured a bone in my ankle, like in my lower leg, and like ruptured my ligaments. And then that was like I never remember, but like that was like the saddest I ever was. Like 16, 17, however old I was. I think I was like 16. Oh God, it like feel like my whole life had been stripped away, like being stuck in a cast, not being able to like play. Like it's where I just found most of my meaning. It's where
did you have other things? Did you have friends, girlfriends, school?
School, mates, I guess like most people do.
But were you academic at all? I mean, you don't probably give it off, but some people hide it. Like, were you academic?
No. I mean, I could get by.
Said with love. Like.
I could get by. I was never the smartest kid in the classroom.
Yeah. Most academic.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't like great at school, but I was enough to like get by. I was enough to.
And at this point, because I feel like you already hinted that the next chapter is quite a social one. At this point, what was social life like? Were you going to? Did basketball give you cool points? Like, were you cool? Were you were there girls? Was there drinking? Like,
not at that age. I was like so focused. Like, it definitely like gave you a few popularity points at school when you were like, you'd play like school basketball for like school sport and score like 40 points in a game, and like it definitely like helped in like social aspect of like having friends at school. And then I think like the main thing was like my mates I had at basketball were like, they were like, something I relied on quite heavily. But like ultimately like my passion and like my drive was like, I want to play college basketball. I want to go like play professionally somewhere. And when that was sort of like taken away from me, I was like, oh God, like lost, completely lost. But yeah, bounced back from that injury, was playing quite well. Got to the point where I was like 17 and like starting to like look at schools. And I think it was such a good thing because like to play college basketball, you have to have like decent grades. So it pushed me to, I think
year 11-ish, is it?
If it was 40, I would have given up at school, but like I had to get like minimum grades to go play college basketball.
Okay.
I had a few like people that were a few years older than me that played the same club that were going doing it, who were sort of like mentors in a way. So
they were doing it. They were going to US colleges.
Yeah, being accepted.
Because again, there are almost unlimited US colleges.
So many,
so
yeah.
you think, the top ones, but
yeah.
Who's a third tier somewhere?
Yeah, you can still get a scholarship to go play for like a decent school. And yeah, got to that point where it was all starting to happen. I was sending off my game film overseas. I was starting to get some messages back from like college and stuff like that about potential interest. And I ruptured ligaments in my ankle. And
the same one?
Yeah, same one.
Same ligaments?
Yeah, missed 6 months.
Oh, that's a long time.
First training back, did ligaments in my other ankle.
Oh, can't.
Yeah, literally. Missed another like 3 months. That was like the most crucial period.
The first training back.
Yeah, it was so stupid. That was like that real crucial 9 sort of months of period where like I needed to be like sending schools.
So real quick though, did that hurt? Like what those injuries, what is the nature of those injuries?
Oh, it hurts, but not as much as like what it hurts you like emotionally. Yeah.
Okay, so these were the crucial times.
Yeah, it was like the time I needed to be like, I was playing my best as well. It was like the best I'd ever been. It hurts so bad. Not like, physically it hurts, but like what it sort of takes away from you. So I sort of went from like being able to go to either like a low Division 1 school or like a good Division 2 school, like talks with like different colleges and stuff like that to like, oh, I can't send them game film. I'm injured. You have to disclose that. And I missed out on like that big chunk. And I sort of came back. I think.
Can you go not straight after school? Can you have like a gap year and then go?
It actually is like a bit of a gap year period with where they
added a year, because we had the same thing with rowing. I was never interested in it, but a fair few kids like such an elite thing, but rowing was taken very seriously, and it was such an avenue into US colleges and Oxbridge in the UK that. A few kids were doing it almost exclusively for that.
Yeah.
And one kid in particular, who's a family friend, kind of waited. I think he waited because obviously you had that kind of half year. It turned out to be almost 9 months.
Yeah, it's 9 months. Yeah.
But then I think he waited at least one, maybe a second, just to get into Harvard.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Like you definitely can, but if I think back on that time there, I'm like, a few of my mates I played with were going to be going. I'm like, oh, I want to be going. It's like now or never. Let's make it happen. Came back, was playing in like the under-18s grand final week before I think like the week before. So this was Vic Championship under-18s, like probably the best like under-18s comp in the country. I was like ended up going on win MVP for the team that season.
Wow.
The semi-final, like 2 games before the grand final, or there's a game to get into the grand final. Hit a shot with 10 seconds left to put our team into the grand final. The next training, did my ankle again.
Oh, you dickhead.
Yeah. I was actually like a complete mess when it happened. Like it hurt. Once again, it hurt, but like just the tears and the frustration of not being able to play in the grand final. I'm pretty sure they went so overkill. Like they flew out like an ambulance to come grab me. Got the morphine.
What, a helicopter ambulance?
Not the helicopter. Yeah. Sorry, flew it out on wheels. Yeah. But it was like, if I look back on that, like they were all like, oh, he's in massive pain. But it was literally just from the disappointment of like just knowing I wouldn't be able to play in the grand final, knowing I was going to miss another however long.
But what was wrong with you? Have you looked at it since? Have you heard that was the rehabs not long enough?
I did everything right. Hey,
Yeah.
I did everything right. Especially like,
Is it just your body, do you think? Like,
some people get injured.
yeah.
Some people don't. I still remember going to school the next day. I was in year 12 and we had like a chaplain at school and he walked up to me and he's like, oh, you get injured again. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, I guess that's what happens. Some people, you know, they go on to make it. Some people just get injured. And I was like fucking cunt.
Did he say that
He
like
said that
that?
straight to my face, yeah. I was like,
So he didn't say it with sympathy and...
just said it plainly. I don't know if he was trying to comfort me or what, but like I guess he was right from some point of view, but like, oh God, that hurt. I was so angry. Like, what? Why would you say that to someone?
It's so funny because sometimes I remember rocking up on field and we'd all meet at a basketball thing
Yeah.
and just shooting hoops, and you would be shooting hoops and never have known.
Because we never played, but I don't remember shooting hoops with you, mate. You would have remembered it. It was maybe kicking a footy, mate.
MVP.
Yeah, I was on
Of
track to go to
Victoria.
college for like the team, MVP for the team in like one of the best leagues in the
Basically
state.
the best player in Victoria.
No, it wasn't. Well, it definitely wasn't. There's a few going on this would be a lot better than me, mate. Yeah, that was like a massive like roadblock. I ended up getting an offer from a college. I had an offer from a few colleges, but 2 of them were Division 3, and Division 3 colleges can't offer like sporting scholarships, only academic. Unfortunately,
So you could go, but you had to pay full fare. And
yeah,
that's a lot
my
of
parents
money.
would have to pay. Yeah,
That's a
My parents
lot
would
of
have
money
paid.
in the state.
And then like my last resort was a school in the Virgin Islands.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Mate,
Different.
they offered me like a half scholarship.
But it'd be expensive living there.
Yeah, you can't work over there as well on a student visa. Realistically, like my parents were like pretty close to like saying like, if you want to do it, we'll do it. They were like 50-50. I was like, oh God, I really want to know, but I really want to go, but like I think that's like a debt you can never really like. It would have been a lot of money.
Yeah.
4 years as well.
Are there any...
I was still like quite injured, so
And this is obviously just a highly vulnerable, whatever point of your life and your story. Not regrets aren't the right word, but if you look at your life like a movie and you're the character, and now you can, look back at that movie and you're watching the movie, are there any just things you would maybe whisper in that Jamie's ears?
I think I had such a mindset that would be like be all or end all. I think I would have probably told myself as like, hey mate, it's gonna be fine. You can get injured again. It's not gonna matter. You're still gonna be breathing. You're still gonna have purpose. It's just gonna be in a different avenue.
So you don't really wish you did something different, but maybe you wish you kind of allowed yourself to accept things differently or better.
I think like no matter what, if I did have that ability to like whisper to myself, it wouldn't have probably changed how I felt. Like even if it was like future me telling me that, I'm like, I still would have been absolutely devastated. I still would have been frustrated. I still would have felt like that was what I was supposed to do and it was taken away from me by an uncontrollable. But yeah, like at the end of the day, it was not meant to be. It's quite funny that school, I obviously didn't end up going.
In the Virgin Islands?
Yeah, it got hit by a massive cyclone about 2 months later, and the whole school base got wiped out. Like, someone on campus actually passed away in that storm. So, not meant to be. That was my way of saying, hey, I was meant to stay. But yeah, I had like phone calls with like the coach, was going back and forth an email, trying to tee up. I was trying to like just get an extra scholarship. They didn't have any more budget. Got injured again, did my ankle again.
Again?
Yeah, I did it again. And yeah, that sort of just blew that out the window. I was like, all right, cool. I can still, there's a good league. There's a good like under 23s league here in Victoria. I'm just going to like work my way through it. If I can go next year, I can go next year. If not, I want to like try get into like the semi-professional league at the youngest age. And to be like quite frank with you, I was playing like a decent level, but I was never like as dominant as like where I was. Just didn't get back to it.
The players were better, or you just didn't have your heart in it as much?
I lost so much athleticism. I went from like being 17, be able to like dunk, being quicker than most people, to like being quite slow.
By nature of having been injured?
Yeah, just missing that much time. Like having like playing with massive ankle braces and taped up, and the fear of getting injured again, and the fear of like jumping and coming down to someone's foot, like never came back. And I started like facing like some more challenges. I was get like incredibly like nervous and like anxious before playing, because I'd put in my pressure that I'm like, I know I can do this, but I can't now.
It's interesting. I've heard that we see our view of ourselves lags behind the world's view of us by a while, by like a year or two. And people, the context in which I've heard of that is people on the up. People maybe get famous or rich, and it takes them a while, like a year or two, to think about themselves in the context that other people think of themselves as.
Yeah.
That sounds brutal on the way down, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, it genuinely was. Like,
you're thinking yourself because you know you're the MVP of this team.
Yeah.
What,
like,
a year later, you're
like struggling to get court time in that under 23s team, like struggling to just get played on the court, still like doing all the training, still putting in like the same amount of effort. I guess like as I sort of was going downwards, like probably like I started letting like get into that sort of like 18, 19, you start like getting opportunities to like party. And whereas when I was like 17 and people asked me to drink, I'll be like, no, like I'm a basketball player. Like I'm an athlete. That's how I treated myself. I started like treating myself as a normal 18, 19-year-old, going out after a game, getting hammered. And that probably like started pushing that downwards trend even quicker. It basically got to the point where like my last season, had a coach that I just clashed. I started like I was playing at a decent level, but I was also a bit older in this league. Like I should have been playing a little bit better. I was like in the starting lineup, but I wasn't like putting up like great games. Like I was like a solid utility player. And like my view of myself was, no, I should be dominating this league, and I should be like where I should be is like dominating here, starting to like get time in like the semi-professional league. And I was just so far from it. And I guess like that's where I like started like looking for things outside of basketball, which I'd never done before, which is so scary. And like my way of feeling that was like, oh, we're young, let's go camping every weekend. Let's go out night clubbing and stuff like that. And my whole like law of association went from like people who were like quite similar to me, like very focused, very driven, to like start hanging out with like mates that were going down like a bit of a different path. And I started like veering off to that path. At the end of that year, I was like, clashed with my coach that many times. I'm like hating basketball, hating going to training, like got injured a fair bit, like in between in and out, ankles and other things. Like, I decided, I was like, no, I need to try something different. I'm going to quit.
Do you, in retrospect, think there was anything about basketball, or was it just mirroring your internal, your reality, and that was
I just
not
like
what you wanted to look
always saw myself as like being someone that would be amazing at it, be great at the sport. And when I sort of like the reality was sort of shaping that I wouldn't be, like I probably wouldn't get there, like I wouldn't ever get to like playing a professional level. I just like lost the purpose in it because it was like that's what I'd always been working towards since I was like 12, 13. So
you spoke about very supportive parents in all sorts of ways. And then you mentioned, your law of association, the 5 people you spent the most time with was probably very different in a negative way.
yeah.
What were your parents saying and doing in this time of this?
I guess for them I was like the oldest child, the first one to like how do you sort of like my mum was like always like wanting me, like she like got equal amount of fulfillment for me playing and me doing well. I don't think they weren't for it, they weren't against anything. They were just like, well, you're young, like you got to work it out. They didn't necessarily to tell me like one thing or the other thing. And like, it's not that the people I was hanging around were bad people. It was just like not where I view my life to be going. And I could probably see that more clearly than even what my parents could see that. I don't know, you'd probably have to ask them what they might have thought, but they never
You think that your standards for yourself were higher than their standards for you in that respect of success and achievement?
As like my friends or as like my parents?
As your parents even?
Parents, I don't think they ever really cared too much about me necessarily being successful. They weren't like pushing me to like be an amazing like basketballer. They just probably wanted me to be happy.
Yeah, cool.
And I think like wherever I sort of found that happiness, they were probably all for it. Whether that be just catching up with mates and drinking on the weekend or like pursuing something. But like I just didn't have that internal like drive, that internal motivator to like really work towards. It was like kind of stripped away, and I was like, I didn't really see it at the time, but I subconsciously was like wanting to find the next thing. So yeah.
Okay, like there's so many stories that have come up, and I don't expect you. I'd love you to. I don't expect you to recount some of them. What I imagine is this chapter of now, like a bit more party, a bit more, tomfoolery as a young bloke. Is that like one part that hasn't been on display of your character at all in this interview? Is you just throwing out random phrases and like kind of larrikin quips and stories of, how do I say this politely? This crazy night, this conquest, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe. And you're for that, and I think you use it well in a social setting because it makes people kind of comfortable and jocular and whatnot. Is all the source material for that side of your expression from this chapter, or was that always part of you when you were serious and focused, purpose-driven?
Yeah, I think it definitely like always been a part of me. It's sort of been like my laid back sort of always draw back to humour. Yeah. In like awkward times,
you didn't have
times.
So much ammo to use.
Yeah, when you put your like when it's just drinking a lot, hanging out with like mates who are quite similar, like you do tend to tap into that side like a little bit more.
I was thinking, I mean, how great would it be to have the Malaysia story on?
Get cancelled, man. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be for in real life. Maybe recounts. Maybe. Anyone who meets Jamie in real life can ask him about
They can ask for that. They have to buy me a beer though to get the Malaysia story. Yeah. It's. I think that's always been a little bit of part of me. I constantly battle. I'm like, is that a good part of me? Or is that a bad part of me? I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's like it's a part of who I am. Like I definitely
can see, for instance, if you're guiding people in NFL and giving this deluxe experience, part of that value that you're offering will be like, yes, it's all wrapped up in a fun time, a human experience. Yeah, it's harder to monetize that initially, but eventually it will find its value. I can't see how it wouldn't.
100%. Like it's something I don't necessarily like shy away from that, but like there's obviously like a time and place for it as well. Like it's for sure. So I was definitely like going through like lack of purpose. I was finding like fulfillment through probably like the wrong things. Like not that I was doing anything bad. I wasn't going out like smashing drugs. Like I never touched anything like that. I'd definitely like drink too much.
Can you take me through a day or even a week in the life of Jamie at this stage? Do you remember what it actually looked like and maybe what thought patterns were different to how they were before or after?
It was almost just like numbing, like the lack of fulfillment, the lack of purpose. Like that's realistically what it was. Like, I think I was working like 2 jobs at the moment. I was working at Kmart. I was working as like a blind fitter. I was like, obviously, like when you're kind of like 18, you start earning money for the first time. Like you're like, I started like just getting right into like my camping. Like me and my best mate would go camping a lot. Go there, get pretty pissed, just do like just random, just boy stuff. Boys being boys, going 4-driving, fishing.
Do you still have those coping mechanisms? I don't know if you've had a breakup or something since. Is that kind of how you...
Not so much a breakup, hey.
Because that was kind of I mean, a breakup is really just the crumbling of a dream of a future with someone, right? That you had and now it doesn't exist. And that can exist with like a career path or a life path, which it was with basketball. Like that is, in a sense, I would say probably feels the same as a breakup in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I was like, I was almost like trying to justify my lack of fulfillment. Was like, I'm going to do up my 4-wheel drive and go camping every weekend. And I love camping. It gives me so much fulfillment, which it does. Like that's what I'm going to do. Like that's going to be me. That's going to be me when I'm 40. I'm like the guy that's got like a sick setup that's going to be going away. And like, I sort of quickly realized I'm like, that's not going to fulfill me. Like that sort of lifestyle.
Not enough.
Going out, getting like hammered on a weekend trip. Great fun. Love it. I still like do it to this day, but it's not me. It's not like the lifestyle I want to choose. I need to find something.
Okay, and just before we find that thing in the story, what was your relationship with basketball and maybe the people? I can imagine, was there maybe some embarrassment, or what kind of emotions were there if you met if you bumped into the street with a guy you played on that MVP team with, like, how'd that go down? Yeah,
one guy, like, still one of the good mates today, kept in contact with, like, one of my best mates. The rest, I was like, saw them like going on, having success, and it was just like, had that part of me going, that could have been you. You were better than him at one point. You could have been there. But a lot of it was like, just like negative talk, stuff that might not necessarily been true, or maybe it was true, but I'd be like, if I didn't get injured, I'd be there.
Yeah.
I didn't get injured, I'd be just coming back from college now.
So that was the storyline. Did you say that to openly, or was that more internal monologue?
Nah, I always had that like fear of, never want to be that guy at the pub that's saying, I could have been that guy.
Yeah.
Like I never really openly shared it.
So you didn't really just talk much about basketball at all?
No, stopped playing completely.
Because I had never actually heard this.
So I don't really like share it with people. I'm like, everyone's sort of, I feel like so many people have that sob story that they were going to be awesome and then they got injured.
And they grew up and then they're just a normal adult.
Yeah. Like I sort of like, I despise when people used to like, and I hear those stories when I was like younger and up and coming, I'm like, well, you should have just stuck with it. So it was probably just like a whole like internal battle of me being like, not wanting to be that person. So I never really talked about it much. Like I never really like spoke about it. Never like kind of distanced myself from it.
Which is, I think, honourable, because there are plenty of times, for instance, that I've seen you where I imagine, and I'm absolutely like putting myself in it here, but I imagine you might have felt, social status wise a bit lower than otherwise could be necessary. And you can always be like, yeah, but like, hang on, I was this. And again, it's gross to say, and it's like, but there's always going to be that urge. Part of you is like, you don't even.
You still feel that urge. Yeah. Like still to this day, like if you meet someone.
Someone might say you're a bit slow. You're like, you don't even know, mate.
Yeah, I'm like, mate, let me get up this video of me dunking when I was 17. Like you do have that, right? Or like, I always sort of find it if like you meet someone, they start bragging about how good they were, and you ask them, and I was like, mate, like, yeah, I had you covered. Like, and they're like sort of bragging to you like how good they were, and like.
But it feels better to keep that to yourself, knowing you're an idiot by saying this, and I know I had you covered, rather than me going out.
I wouldn't even say it feels better, I'd say it's like.
Then it feels better than saying it to their face, because as soon as you say it, you lose that.
You're being that person, yeah, 100%.
Okay. So what did you find?
I guess like I quit my job that I was doing.
Kmart.
I was still working at Kmart, but my boss was the assistant coach of the basketball team. didn't really see eye to eye with him, didn't like him. Quit that job. Took on more shifts at Kmart, started playing footy. Gave my cousin that same call I gave at the start of this year and was like, mate, I haven't played since under 10s, but I want to come have a run. And in my head, I was like, oh, this is my new purpose. I'm going to get really good at footy. I'm going to be like a great player. I never like applied myself the same sort of way that I did to like basketball. And I picked up footy pretty quick. I was like a decent player in like the reserves, played a seniors game, but like, and it was more about the footy culture and like just going out and getting pissed after a footy game and like getting my fulfillment like through a different group of people. It's probably just a bit of a band-aid for like not having basketball there.
That's maybe like a step if you're getting pissed with, you know, whoever.
Mates, yeah.
And then you're getting pissed with, at least they're playing footy. They're still doing the same thing, but at least there's like some direction and then,
Yeah, and then like at this sort of point I realised like I want to have a business. Like I really, like that's what I see myself. That's what I see like the version of me being successful is like having a business.
I break my ankle, still can roll, like, you know, can still go.
Yeah. I still like, I've got a passion. Like I got quite into like, I really like fell in love with the idea of like owning my own business and like, I like saw the potential of like being a business owner as like a mission to like be successful. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to chase. So me and my mate, we started a business. It was selling. I'm like, cool, what are we passionate about? What do we like? We both loved NFL. We both loved like college. We loved sport. Right at that time, there was like, it was really like vintage clothing was like a massive thing. It was like popping off.
Yeah.
So me and my mate started going to markets and like finding like gear like this. I think this is like literally still one of the original ones we bought. Finding at these little markets for $10 and then started like selling it.
On Depop and stuff?
Yeah, started on like Depop. All of a sudden we started like buying like in bulk, like from America, getting like these massive boxes of like 60 like hoodies and stuff like that. Excuse me. Most of it was like shit. But then you'd find like some gems and then we're like, oh, like we had no idea what we're doing. No idea how to run a business. We're spending like so much money on buying these clothes. We like made a website. We set it up as Thrift Shop Threads. That's what it was called. We started like building that and like it gave me like that purpose and that drive again. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like I can see this being successful. We're not making great money, but we're turning over a little bit, you know? And it's given me like something like, it's given me like sort of something I could like pursue, like potentially like building like a clothing brand one day. Realistically, like the biggest fault was like, I'm not really someone that's passionate about clothing. Like I've never really been someone that's like into like fashion or into it, but I just like the idea there was like NFL stuff. It's cool. Like we'd find like stuff like this and be like, oh, that's sick.
Connecting
like,
to.
Someone will love that. Someone will pay $100 for that. And some people did, most people didn't. And I guess like the next chapter was like, cool, I want to scale this business. What's the number one thing that's holding me back? Money. I need to put more money into this to grow the business. What do I need to do? I just finished uni at this stage. I absolutely coasted uni.
What was your uni degree?
I did a business degree.
The old business degree, eh?
Yeah. Just starting business, absolutely coasted it. It was during like COVID and all that as well.
Yep.
I was like, I did a business degree because I wanted to have a business. And uni taught me absolutely nothing about that. So like, did not contribute to that at all. Just a massive hex step. That's all it really gave me.
Teaches you how to be a fun manager.
Not even, eh?
No,
Teach you how to be a boring manager. But I'm like, cool, let's start this business. Let's go. I need more money. I've finished my uni degree now. I've got time. The only thing holding us back is we need to buy like more clothes. We need to get better stuff. How do we get into it? And then, it's where I like started applying for jobs. I was like, my dad does sales. I'm going to do sales. He does pretty well. Let's just start like a sales career. And my idea was like the commissions I would make would be like what I put into.
So you earn your salary and that's what you live off, and then the commissions you make you put into this business.
Yeah. And that's where I started it.
So, sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's where I started at Hypergroup, which was the next chapter. Yeah, which was.
Was that first day? Do you remember that first interviews? Was it Kurt and stuff?
Yeah. Same office. Met Kurt.
He would have loved that story.
Yeah, I remember he actually did. That's probably the only reason why I got the job, because I was terrible when I started.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Yeah.
Because he loves. Does he like sport, or is it Jack who more likes sport?
Yeah,
He likes the sport. I think he likes the mentality of sport.
Yeah, he
like
like the mentality of like athletes. I think is what really draws him to it.
And then you're like, pursuit of that business and stuff.
Yeah, that was like where I sort of started. I guess that's where we sort of get into like with the model of how like that industry works.
Yeah. So what, okay, so we met at Hyper, working for Hyper, but I joined. When did I join? March 24. When did you join? 2 years before.
2021 March.
Wow, so 3 years. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's door knocking. Well, I mean,
yeah, doing events, right? Start on event
so like
sales.
The people who are selling charity, trying to get you signed up for charity stuff.
Those annoying people down at the shops.
Yeah. Man, I see them. Some of my local shops up in Sydney now. Hi there. Dude, I went to Woolies the other day, and there was one of those like you park on the ground and there's like an escalator going up, and there's people at the bottom of the escalator, and then people at the top escalator.
Right. Relentless, I love it.
Oh, and I was like, I'm always tempted to kind of go and ask and see what their picture's like, and like, figure out what agency and stuff they're in, and then I'm like, I'm also just not invested.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I started there, and like the whole
definitely teaches you sales.
100%. Yeah. Oh, I learned so much. It's definitely helped me like develop into give me skills. I think it's going to help me for the rest of my life. And the whole sort of model of the business is to like promote you as an owner.
Yeah. It's it's a pyramid structure, not a pyramid scheme. Every business is a pyramid structure, but this doesn't have as many, and stop me if I'm not being fair in any way, but it doesn't have as much friction to like move up that pyramid. Now, a pyramid scheme, the money comes internally. So it's like the bottom chum of supplying the money up to the top. It's not that. The money comes externally from actual clients who are real. So it's not like a bullshit Ponzi scheme. But it certainly is like, you're one of the chums in terms of sales, and then like, you get good at sales, so you make a team, and then you grow the team and you grow other people who can grow teams. And I mean, every sales team in the world is like that. But it's, I remember saying to Shane Ward, I was like, who's like the top dog in Australia essentially, right? And I was like, this is just entrepreneurship. But when you go bowling and your kids,
you got the rails up. Yeah.
This is what it is. Every business is like bowling, and then not many businesses give you the guardrails. Yeah. You get the guardrails because you're a door knocker.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing I think what is most people will admit is a shit job, and in exchange for that you get so much support and guidance and like a clear run at this is the direction we're going. So it's very alluring for someone who doesn't really care about what they're doing. They want a business. They want to figure out sales and all the steps of the way.
Yeah. I think like I'm a big believer like in the industry. I think it's like, it is awesome. Like there are like some like restrictions, but like sometimes those guardrails can be a negative thing, but most of the time they are like an extremely positive thing. And I think like, the opportunity it does give people is awesome. And something I was really like drawn towards. I was like, oh, this could be like my ticket to have my own business. Like could be how I do it, and I do it, and I'm mentored along the way. I'm shown how to do it by someone that's done it before. That drew me massively to it, to the point where I was like, I wasn't very good when I started. Partially a lot of that was like, I needed to put in extra work to get good, and I was putting in so much time like trying to build this other business. And I got to the point where I had to make that decision where I was like, I probably need to give this up. Like I need to give up the thrift shop threads to really like focus on becoming like this version of me, which I did.
It's interesting it does that. It does that to people. It makes them say no to the other things they went into it with. Because not many people go into door knocking job or a annoying person outside the supermarket job thinking this is what I want. It's more to serve a purpose of something else I want. Yeah. And people either leave instantly or make the 6-month part and suddenly start saying no to the things they went into it with. one can see that as bad. It's like people will like lose themselves in a relationship, right? But I don't know if it's always bad. How do you feel about that? I certainly felt that within myself, and for me, it wasn't bad. I wouldn't do it again, but it wasn't bad. How do you feel about that?
Well, like for me, if I put myself back in those shoes where I was like, this just ticks everything in terms of like, it gives me the fulfillment. It gives me I'm working towards something. It's also given me like help and showing how to do it. So I feel like I probably did take it too far to the extreme where I just gave up a lot of the other stuff in my life, like a lot of like friendships, like those people that I was hanging out with that weren't necessarily bad people, but they didn't want the same things. I like completely just sort of cut them out of my life.
Well, I guess the thing is, it only makes sense to be a door knocker if you're all in to a certain degree. It's not a job, like a lot of people have jobs where it's an okay job. It doesn't light my soul afire, but that's okay because I have plenty of time for friends and camping and everything. This is a job where you don't want to go to it as a 9 to 5. You don't want to go to it as all at all, or you want to be all kind of in. I think I imagine that the reason it has that nature of pulling people into it is because of the support. I can be stable. I can feel like I'm putting one foot in front of the other and going along a certain path while here, whereas out in the dark wilderness of the weeds and not knowing how this works, or I'm on my own, I haven't seen people do it before me in the vintage thread shop. I'm going to choose the known. Even if it's not a good direction or not a better direction than the other option, at least I will know if I'm moving in the right direction.
You know if you're like progressing. It gives there's more clearer indicators around that. So true. Like I think I look back at that time and like I probably unnecessarily I gave up more things than like what I probably needed to. And to be fair, like in that moment, like I was being rewarded with the success. Like I started progressing through the business, started building a team. But it was like 7 days a week, every week. Like I was work Monday to Saturday. Like my rostered hours would have been like 9 to 5 and I would start at 7:30 and finish at 7:30 at night. And that was every day. I moved out of home, moved into the city to be closer to work. I just went all in. I threw myself all in at it because I was just convinced that this is right. This is the right purpose. And like I guess the first.
So how we started March 21. Do you remember roughly when you stopped doing the clothing?
Probably would have been. It was like a tricky time because there's a lot of like COVID lockdowns, couldn't work. Like that second lockdown was a lot different to my first lockdown. That first lockdown was getting hammered every night on Zoom, camping in the backyard, like camping in my paddock with my mates. This second one was like I started doing like a 75-day hard. So I'd get up, do a workout on Zoom call with like the other co-workers. Then we'd do sales training. Like we use that like, it's probably like where I started actually developing in the job was like through that time. It was a bit of a blessing because I wasn't very good at the start. It was like a lot different. And that's where I think it was like during that lockdown period, maybe towards like just afterwards where I was like, we're probably time that we give this up. Like I think during COVID.
So late 21.
Yeah, late 21.
Okay.
So we gave it a crack for about like a year and a half, I think.
Okay, and how long do you reckon was the period where you were finding that the more effort you put into the business, you received back for it? How long did that last?
I guess a lot of it like sort of paid off during that COVID time where I was like reading books every day, studying sales, working on my health as well. Like it's probably like the first time since basketball where I was like starting getting back into fitness. Like there was nothing really else to do. So after we came to that lockdown period, I just was a lot better. Like I was just in a lot better place. Like I was a lot more skilled. Started like paying off that next year was when I sort of like started building a team, started coaching, started training, started learning like leadership and stuff like that. Starting to get more like responsibility. And yeah, that was probably like that year where I like really started like progressing, really started like moving through.
Yeah. And then did that stay the case? Did it remain the case? Did that plateau? Did that start to drop off?
It got to like the point, man, where I was like, it was like the hardest I've ever worked for over a 12-month period. I just didn't really like listen to myself, and I genuinely just like burnt myself out to the point where I was like, I was doing those same hours. I was coming into the office on Sunday, like working 10, 11, 12-hour days, getting closer, but like it was still like not quick enough for me. And then just hit like a bit of a plateau in like.
Do you feel that those hours were, got the discipline to show up and be present, but not the discipline to show up and be present?
Yeah, like lost a bit of enthusiasm, which I think is like was so helpful like in sales. But when you're like rocking up tired, and like my like routine was crazy. It was like wake up at the gym 5 a.m, come back home, read for an hour, like listen to a podcast, drive out to field, cold showers every morning. And it was just like that, like 6 days a week. And then on the
productivity rain dance.
Yeah. And then I get to Sunday, would be in the office all Sunday, like planning out for the week. And I just didn't really take any breaks.
So I never went to a Sunday. And I think if anyone's listening to this, the idea of planning out a week of door knocking on a Sunday seems almost absurd. Like not to be like obtuse, but
no,
what
it's a
is
good
that?
question. Yeah, it's really like just based around like your team's development. How can you develop your team? What does this guy need? Where do they need? What area should they be in? Who do you need out on field with them? Like who do you need? What do they need to work on? What do they need to develop? Like what do I need to do for myself? Obviously, like plan it for what do I need this week? Where do I need to be? Literally just like a lot of overthinking. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
And then just trying to execute a plan from it.
Yeah. Literally a lot of overthinking.
Yeah. I mean, that's what like good planning is, right? I feel like I'm like a serial overthinker.
Oh, so you're like, in a good way, you're like, okay, we've overthought these 20 options. Only one of them's going to happen, but we don't know which of these 20 is going to be the ones we need to think about, all 20.
And also like a place to like ask for advice from people who've done it before. Sit down, get guidance, and sort of map it out. But it was also like a bit of a social thing, right? Like you don't really have a social life. Like didn't really have like much of a social life. So like all my friends were like in the business. All the ones that were like quite successful, the ones I was mates with, they'd be the people that are in Sunday. So it was also like I definitely got like some joy and like fulfillment out of it.
Nice.
You got to just try and like enjoy the journey. But like ultimately it just really led to me like losing a bit of that motivation, frustration of not being where I want to be, being quite burnt out. And yeah, that sort of went on like a bit of a downward sort of trend.
Did that in any way parallel internally? Did you see parallels between your journey in hyper and your journey in basketball?
Yeah, well, I think that's what might have really like sort of hurt me in this period was like when I ultimately like did like lose my team due to like my performance and where I was at, which was mainly due to like me just not taking a reset, not really like just taking a break, which was what I needed.
So whereas in basketball you were forced breaks, as in the injuries, and that was what killed it. Yeah. In hyper, it was like you didn't have the breaks because of the PTSD of having breaks and ruin it. But in
losing
business,
momentum was like the biggest fear ever.
But in business, maybe it's like the opposite way around.
I needed to. If I look back on it, I'm like at the time I didn't really feel that way. I was like, oh no, I just need to do better. I need to do more. I need to do more to get myself going. But I'm like, oh man, I should have just should have gone on a holiday or something like that. Should have gone overseas for like 3 weeks and come back and hey, if you're a bit of a setback after that and you lost a bit of momentum, at least you feel reset.
For the next 3 months.
Yeah, 100%. Like I just, and don't get me wrong, there were like some like work trips and like places like I got to go on along the way, but like it's still like work. Like the trip to Malaysia, awesome, great week.
Great stories.
Great stories for some, but
for the rest of us to enjoy.
Yeah, like it was never like a rest away from the business, away from the industry.
It's still probably on show. It's like not that it's a competitive environment of like heat shark, but to some degree it always is.
No, it is, yeah. 100%.
You know, you don't want to be rocking up like, you know, like me. Like, I mean, I didn't give too many fucks, but like, you know, like you don't want to be stinking or you don't want to be fucking.
No.
You always taking the opportunity to look sharp and sound smart and be put together.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
It's sales, right? And it's not sales just to the people in the supermarket. It's sales to the newcomers of like, whose team do you want to be on? And
Yeah, 100%. Who's like going to get the next start? Yeah, constantly just like trying to prove yourself. And I mean, like probably on those trips, it was like I took it as more as like a reset as well, which I don't know if that was like probably the time and the place to be doing
so you
it.
should have done your own holidays rather than use the work ones as holidays.
100%. Yeah, I should have spent that time to like spend with my family. Like I didn't see my family like very much through that period. Like I was just very focused. Yeah, and like ultimately that's sort of what led me down. But then I was having that like pattern that I was aware of, that I was like, hey, you were really good at basketball, then this happened and you weren't ever good again. As I sort of was like spiraling just out of like being exhausted, I started like telling myself, this is what's happening. This is happening again. You need to change it. You're not going to let it happen this time. And that was a complete, like, instead of like pushing me to go back up the other way, it was pushing me downwards. And like, I was the only one that really understood that. Like, I couldn't really like explain it to anyone else and necessarily ask for help, because it was only me that like had been there. It was me that needed to sort of overcome it. So yeah, I guess like the next sort of 2.5 years, I never really got back up on that upward trajectory. I always like was
Building
working towards it.
and
Yeah, like I sort of coached and trained a little bit here, but I wasn't like a big dog like where I was. And
so in the first year you were quite a big dog.
yeah, I was running like one of the biggest teams in the office. I was never like on that level. I was never on like the same level as like Jack and some of the other guys, but like I could see I was close. I was in touching distance. I was just like a one good 6-month run away from like being there. Yeah, and like I just never really got that trajectory upwards. And then I was stuck in this spot where I'm like,
You were back in the under 23s team.
literally exactly where I was. I was like good enough to keep going. I knew I could be up there, but I wasn't getting up there. And I don't know if it was through like either just a lack of belief, a lack of like motivation, but like I could never like really regain that.
But again, I knocked many days we were knocking doors together, Jamie.
Good days.
This is the first time I heard that in that first year you were one of the big dogs. Like you, again, didn't want to be the guy to say, hang on, I don't look too flash now, but you should have seen me a few years ago.
Yeah, that's once again, it's like that same thing.
Same
like,
thing.
oh, back in my day, I used to have a team of 10 people.
Yeah.
Like there's that like, oh, I hate the vision of, I hate it when people say that to me. So I'm like, I never wanted to be that person. I want to be the person that like lost it and built it back. That was like how I sort of saw myself.
When you have 20 people, you can talk about how you had zero. But
And lost it. Yeah. That was like what I was like chasing. And like ultimately, like if I look to the amount of effort I was putting in the year before I made it to like the year after, like I was still doing a lot more than like what I think most would have done, but it wasn't to like the same level of doing 11-hour days.
So now, as you have this NFL journey that we discussed earlier, that you want to be long-term vision, like this is it's kind of the one. How much fear do you have surrounding old patterns? What practices and mindsets and ways of operating are you avoiding or going towards or trying out so this pattern doesn't repeat itself a third and final?
What I like, genuinely like think's a little bit different about this one is like I do get so much fulfillment out of doing it. And I think that like passion and that love of doing it when you're not making anything has to be the same thing that's pushing it when you are starting to
Well, I
make
guess
it.
because you liked footy, but you did basketball because you were good at basketball and you got results.
Yeah.
You liked... You didn't like any of them. You probably didn't like you said you didn't like the clothing that much and you didn't like the door knocking, I imagine, that much. No one does. But But you like the results that came from it. So it's results driven, externally motivated.
Yeah.
And this one's far more internally motivated.
I feel like it's like the first thing I've been passionate about. I'm like, oh man, this is sick. Like,
and you don't care if it doesn't get liked.
I would do this for free. Like, I genuinely like I know like everyone sort of says this, but I'm like, I genuinely don't care like how long it takes. As long as like I stick true to like, why I'm doing this is because I enjoy it. I think that's got to be the thing that's different. And like, to be honest, I can't give you the answer because I very well might have the exact same thing happen again. And if that does happen, I just have to believe it's like a reason for it. But like it's nothing's going to scare me off like having a crack at like trying to build something.
Well, I personally believe I have a lot of faith in that. And I understand why people will say don't follow your passion and that kind of thing, follow the results. Because I think for most people, for the middle of the bell curve, you're gonna have a better life running the compromise, having the job that's okay, and then living the life okay. But there's a subset of people on the ends of the bell curve, and I think it's in everyone. But you notice like it's in everyone, but not everyone lives it for their whole fucking life.
Yeah,
they might get burnt out of it and then start compromising. I certainly feel, and it's painful to be honest, because it doesn't feel like a choice. But I certainly see it in me and you and basically everyone in hyper. I think that's what is the actual factor that it is required to stay there for any decent amount of time. Is almost the unwillingness to compromise.
Yeah, it's so true. Like,
so it's like I am willing to be poor for 10 years because the only way I'm actually willing to get rich, for instance, on this train is doing something I actually want to do. And that's pain. Like, I mean, I personally find it kind of painful. Like, I rejoice in it. I love it. I wouldn't want it any different way. It doesn't feel like a choice.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know if it comes from like fear, like the fear of like something that's always driven me is like, if you look at your life in like 10 years time, like just living like the average life, doing the average things, like that makes me feel sick. Like for whatever reason, whether it's just like how our genetics are wired, or if it comes from like nurture, like the fear of like seeing myself like living like the average sort of every Joe life.
Because no one is the average. This is the weird thing about averages. Averages often, if you have 100 numbers, the average might, of like whole numbers, 1 to, random 1 to 100. The average might be 3.57 or something.
Yeah.
That's not one of the numbers.
Yeah.
It's just the best compromise between all the numbers.
Yeah.
But each number, each person is a unique individual. And no one actually fits perfectly onto the average, almost by definition. There might be one person right on it.
Yeah.
Right?
And his name's Joe.
There's probably two just either side, real close, but two either side. So no one actually should aim for it because it's not reflective of themselves.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense? I mean,
100%.
It's a bit abstract.
I get where you're coming from. Like you are 100% correct. But
we want to I think we seek alignment, but it's scary because it's hard to see someone living the life we would want to live in the world because no one's like you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't exist yet. And you have the choice of creating that life for yourself, which is just unbelievably scary. It's literally staring into the abyss.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Maybe there's a speck of light. Jonathan Brown follows me. Oh, it's a speck of light.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
But it's darkness. Where over here, it's full high definition light. It's just, that's not quite me.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like just picturing myself, like what would that version of me look like if I were to settle for my definition of average? What does that look like for me? And it doesn't give me any fulfillment. It scares me. Like scares the absolute shit out of me. I'm like, I know I'm like capable of, like I know I'm capable of like more, and whether like you compare that to everyone else and say I'm more than anyone else, I don't think it's necessarily that, but I'm capable of having my version of success
More expression,
Yeah, but what's like the alternative if I like were to like settle?
less expression.
Yeah.
Like less of, like, I mean, you can get spiritual, but like Jamie has been put into a human body, human form to act in this earth and this world, given all sorts of opportunities and curses and blah, blah. Like, what else is there but to just express that individuality and
Yeah.
divinity in a useful, helpful way that enlightens others' lives? I mean, that is the call to just, I mean, it's very religious, isn't it? It's very spiritual. It's like, I want to express myself. Working as an accountant is not the expression of my immortal soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Painful as that is, because fuck, it'd be convenient if it was.
Oh,
Heaps,
mate.
heaps of
Life would be
accountancy jobs.
so much more simple, hey?
If I was, if the expression of my immortal soul was found to be found in the accountancy office in the city, fuck.
Mate, it'd be
Then I can be passionate about that.
accounting. Yeah.
Mate, I'm sweet.
Yeah.
The people who are the top 1% or top 10% of accountants are balling.
Yeah. That's also like,
It's just not possible.
it's not, but like I do like sort of disagreeing to the point where like a lot of people, maybe they would have dreams to like be that 1% of accounting, but they settle for less. And like whatever my version of like settling for less is, that's what scares me. Like, cause I feel like a lot of people do that, right? Like I feel like everyone is unique and amazing in a lot of ways, and everyone could be successful if they genuinely did like apply themselves to that, but not everyone does.
Well, I think like, yes, there's a nature of you have to know how to apply yourself. Most people have applied themselves in things. Maybe it goes back to teenage sport, but it's not like they've never applied themselves. Some people, for sure. The main thing you need to learn is how do you apply yourself. To most people, it's actually taking the time to figure out
What that
the
looks
aligned
like. Yeah.
direction. Yes, I know how to apply myself, but I'm impelled to apply myself. And being the top 1% of things is only difficult if it's something that's not aligned. So there's a lot of friction, and because even in accounting, I think 1% of accountants, probably more, that's really aligned. So you're forcing yourself into accountancy to compete with people for whom it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It feels like play.
Yeah.
So I feel like the compromise is really, what's something that has the potential to pay the bills,
Yeah.
but feels more like play.
Yeah.
And if I have to build that to a certain degree, or like step stones towards that, fair enough. But that seems like it's got to be the only answer.
Yeah. Yeah, so true.
Big Tim podcast. Yeah. Okay, so how did you like get out of it?
Yeah, it's such a good question. I guess it was like I was replaying that exact same cycle. Like I got to the point where I was like literally where I was in basketball. I was like, I lacked a lot of like belief that I could do it anymore. I'm like, I know what I would have to go through. I knew what I went through in that like 12 months of just working like a dog. And I just honestly didn't feel like I had it in me to go do it again. Like I knew what was required of me, but I was lacking that like the
Especially
enthusiasm.
in this direction, the reward wasn't going to be worth it.
Yeah, I just like for the first time I sort of like saw that, and I was like, I fought with this for like months and months and months. Like it wasn't like a quick decision, but it got to the point where I built up and I was like, I need to try something different. I have no idea what it is, but I know like sort of like the headspace I'm at. Like I'm either going to be stuck here until I get fired, or I need to like move on. So yeah, that's where I guess that was when I like made the decision to like, hey, like it's time to wrap it up. I need to find something different. I don't know what it is. Scares the shit out of me, but I know like it can take a lot of great things I've learned, a lot of great skills that are going to help me with whatever I choose to do next. But yeah, it's time to wrap it up.
Cool. And that kind of brings us full circle back to where we started. Now, I asked you the question of once you were out of basketball, how it felt to kind of interact with people who had been in the height of the basketball days. that job that you were saying you've gone back to help Jack with is in this industry, in
Yeah.
the same office and stuff.
Yeah, just
So
a different
how has
role,
that
yeah.
been to walk? Has it felt, because a lot of people in that office, I'm not saying I do or you do, but a lot of people perceive it as coming back with your tail between your legs. Embarrassing, or that's a bit like,
Yeah.
how's that been?
Yeah, I guess like that, being perceived as that person that quit on their goals or like lowered their goals. But
I guess quit for a bigger goal, that is just a mystery. They're probably not checking your fucking Insta and then like, oh, he must be back with a lower goal now.
yeah, I'm fully aware that some people think of that, but I actually like the fear of like coming back to it and thinking that would be bad is nowhere near like as bad as like what it is. Like I actually don't care. I genuinely like do not care if anyone thinks that, because like I've got like my purpose. I know like I'm working towards. And like one at the workplace is like helping Jack build like a massive business, and I get fulfillment out of that. Like that, I find that rewarding, and like I've been really enjoying the role, which is awesome. And like that, yeah, that genuinely gives me like the fulfillment. It fills that side of my life. And then I've got this like side hustle. And I guess it's like not getting stuck in that position where I did originally with Thrift Shop Threads, where I had to choose one or the other, because I genuinely can see like making both work. Like it's not going to be easy. I'm going to have to do more than what most people. When I get home, the first thing I got to do is like get on the Instagram, have like an hour or two. But I'm just using like the amount of effort I was putting in that real motivated year, which I was putting into myself to build that business, is I'm like just using that time, like that side hustle time to build this. I'm like, that's got to be my mentality. And there's going to be times where I'm like, I get home and I can't be fucked. Like big day at work, stay back at work to get some more stuff done, and get home, it's like 8 o'clock and I've got to make 2 reels. Like there's already been nights where I'm like, oh man, like I don't feel like doing this tonight. But having like the vision there and knowing like what I'm working towards, and knowing that like my new job, like the fulfillment that gives me, it gives me like the motivation to like make both work and just put in that extra couple of hours, because it's not something I've ever like been afraid of doing. It's not something I'm not incapable of doing. It just gives me like a different level of fulfillment.
And I feel there's a few extra bits. You've obviously got one or two other people involved in the NFL stuff to
so
support.
much easier, yeah.
And then on the hyper front, you're not the entrepreneur. You're not the business owner.
Yeah.
So it's not that, as we said, the anxiety of I need to do more. What can I do more?
Yeah, I need to build my team.
Plan,
and
this and that. This reflection of me as a person
yeah,
is off you now.
it literally, and you feel that like pressure getting taken off. And like I do take like massive pride in like wanting to make this business work and like wanting to contribute, but
it's the work you do towards that rather than the results themselves.
You're 100% correct. 100% correct. I think it's like a really good balance that like I do like carry that like same mindset of someone that like has been in that position, worked towards that goal and ultimately wanted to be there. Like I've got a like good understanding of like where to apply myself, but I've also got this little bit of like pressure taken off that like if I did want to, like it's not the end of the world. Like it's not necessarily like, it's not the goal.
It's Jack's business.
Yeah. It's a nice way of saying it.
I can say that, you can.
Yeah, no, 100%. But
Okay.
yeah, like it's not like that ultimate like pinnacle I'm like working towards.
It's not I think it's not a reflection of you is important.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing, man. And it's like
Your identity's not wrapped up in it, your self-worth. Yeah.
Yeah, it does like feel like more like a job, and it's like a job I can see myself progressing and having awesome success in. And like with like Jack's plan and Jack's vision, what he's trying to build, I'm like, I can definitely see myself align with that and work towards that. And I'm willing to put in a bit of extra work if it requires me, but it's not like I don't have like the anxiousness, the pressure, everything else that like comes with you trying to do it yourself. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now, in all this, are there any, again, when you're looking, I don't know how often you think about the past, but when you're watching in your own head, privacy of your own mind, the movie of your life so far, Are there any like key images, key moments, maybe key people, good or bad, that maybe haven't been mentioned or like maybe are more important than we've given it credit for in this chat? What's maybe like a highlight moment in the basketball or something like this, you know?
Highlight moment. One of my best memories was like a school basketball game. The game was tied. The whole like school had come down to like watch this game at the end of the day. There was heaps of people in there. Game was tied, 30 seconds left. Had a double team come to me. 2 players ran towards me. They knew I was going to take the last shot. It left our worst player just open underneath the basket. And I passed him the ball and he dropped the ball and it went out of bounds. Like hit him on the chest, bounced off him, went out of bounds. Game's still tied. The other team comes down with about 3 seconds left. They shoot the ball, bounces off the ring. I catch the ball on like the foul line at the other end and just heave this ball. It just went straight through the net from the other
Full court.
Yeah, full court shot.
Full court buzzer beater
to win the game. And the whole school ran onto the court, picked me up and carried me around the whole stadium. It was like one of my best memories. I wish someone had it on video because you couldn't make it up. Like honestly, sometimes I like still think about it. I'm like, did that actually happen? Like, that was like, yeah, it was like one of my favorite moments ever. Hey?
Genuinely a movie scene.
Yeah.
And usually movies try to make it realistic and go half court.
Yeah, mate, this was a full court and it didn't even touch the ring. Like the ball, I think I could sit there for a week straight just having shots and I would never be able to do it again. I don't know if it was divine intervention or anything.
I'm almost positive I can't throw a basketball full.
Mate, I don't even think I can, hey. Just in the moment, it's like when someone's underneath the car and you're like, yeah, find the strength to pull out the car. I actually have no idea. But yeah, that was, I don't know, that's something like I always think about. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, doesn't matter what happened.
How old would you have been?
Like 16, yeah. Yeah, it's like every high schooler's dream. Yeah, I was definitely the popular. Everyone was talking about it at school for a while after that one.
Oh,
for sure.
Shit, yeah, are you kidding?
Yeah, it was it was cool. It was like at school as well. Like literally the whole school was down there watching.
And it wasn't an away game. Like,
it was
literally like, that's perfect.
Yeah, it was grand final for school basketball as well. It was pretty cool.
In the final?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It was pretty special. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky and I've had like so many just great people I've met along the journey, like just mates I've made, little like memories and stuff like that. I still just feel like it's so much at the start. Like I'm going to be so excited to sit back and watch this in a few years' time and who knows, maybe it'll be another downward trend and we've come out of it. Maybe I'm over in America running trips. Like obviously.
Maybe it's still on 49,999 followers.
Stuck there for 12 months, yeah. You never know, hey? Like, you generally don't know, but, like, I think the main thing is, like, you've just got to find, like, the love to enjoy, like, the moments along the way because whenever I've been stuck in that mindset of not doing that is whenever I've, like, lacked fulfillment and you lack, like, happiness, I think. Like, you do generally, like, lack a bit of happiness. So, yeah, I think that's, like, the main thing going forward.
Beautiful. I'm so glad we did this.
Me too, mate. Thank you for that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, unreal.
Thanks, man. That was fun.
Yeah.
How long was that for?
Oh, wow.
I was really
longer
worried.
than I expected.
Me too.